Welcome to part 4. Yeah, that's right, I seem to be continuing with this. Mainly it's just because I want to cover the stuff about the Bible. If it wasn't for that, I think I would have quit right after the photoshopped lunchbox. Plus, I don't normally go to part 4s anyway. But for some reason, this video tickles all the good bits in my brain. I didn't think I'd have so much fun with this. That's why I put it off for so long. Learn something new every day.
Say, I grew up playing Monopoly, and the Monopoly guy had a monocle. Period.
And you have a real vivid memory of it, I bet. Tell you what, here's a way you can test that vivid memory of yours. Don't look up pictures of Mr. Monopoly, or is it Rich Uncle Pennybags? Mandela! Draw him right now from memory, in detail. And then for good measure, draw every single mascot, every single cartoon character, every single logo that you have such vivid memories of from your childhood. And let's see how long it takes you to make a mistake. See, you think you have some sort of perfect photographic memory, but for most people, this exercise will prove pretty quickly to them that they actually don't. That things that they feel vivid memories of, they don't actually have precise memories of. In your case, though, you'd probably just chalk it up to particle colliders messing with your hand or something. Or cheat. Yeah, probably that.
In my life, he had a monocle.
I'm kind of fascinated by this idea that Mr. Monopoly was so important to you as a child that he's one of the things you think you would precisely remember every single detail of. The crisis of the American youth, huh?
When I see it now and there's no monocle, it just looks totally weird. And I've asked about 20 people, hey, can you explain the Monopoly guy? 100% said he had a monocle.
20 out of 20, huh? Who'd you ask exactly? A bunch of your fellow Mandela Effect people? Forgive me if I'm a bit dismissive of your non-study. But yeah, definitely there are people out there who think he had a monocle. I mean, he's an old-timey rich guy with a top hat, a big handlebar mustache, a bow tie, a tuxedo, a cane. If there's one thing people are going to associate with that costume, it's a monocle. Hell, until making this video, I thought Scrooge McDuck had a monocle. Turns out he wears glasses? That doesn't make any sense. No old-timey rich guys ever worn glasses. They wear monocles, damn it!
Judge not, lest ye be judged, is nowhere found in any translation of the Bible.
Yes, it is found there.
It's nowhere in any translation.
And how did you figure this out, man? Did you just go to Bible Gateway and try every translation? Well, that's not going to work, because Bible Gateway doesn't have William Tyndale's New Testament. Should have tried Bible Hub. Now, the first full edition of this particular translation was published in 1526. Tyndale was strangled to death and burned at the stake for it. You know, the usual. This was long before the King James Version existed. That wouldn't come along till 1611. Now, anyway, even though the Catholics did their damnedest to destroy this translation, it still made its mark both on subsequent translations like the King James, and apparently on the people, as is partially shown by the fact that this version of this phrase is what became common in English. Now, of course, even if there weren't such an obvious, simple explanation, it still wouldn't be that impressive if people repeated what they heard around, not the exact text from some specific translation. If the Tyndale Bible didn't exist, it could have come from somewhere else. Some famous sermon, some king spitting out a half-remembered quotation, or just however all the thousands of other random phrases in English get started. Someone said it that way, a small group of people said it that way, and it just spread organically. I mean, people are much less likely to go to the source than they are to just follow the crowd. Anyone who believes what you just said is doing exactly that. They could have just gone to the source and found out about the Tyndale Bible.
Judge not, lest ye be judged. Yet, every single Christian and every single sinner in the entire flat earth,
why am I not surprised?
Tells you, judge not lest you be judged. We all say it wrong. And the explanation that I've got is conflagration or conflagration, whatever it is.
Not real good with words, are you? Confabulation is what you're looking for. And yeah, that definitely is an explanation for some things, but with this, I mean, there's not even any memory issue. People are accurately remembering and quoting the common English phrasing of this suggestion, so memory is not part of the explanation for this. Sure, people might not know where it comes from, but that's the case with most phrases, and most words, and most names, and most everything to do with language, and with culture. People don't learn Bible quotes from 16th century Bibles. Maybe in the 16th century they did, but not now. People learn Bible quotes from their parents, from their friends, from their pastors, from their, whatever, the internet, books, movies. And yeah, of course, sometimes the actual Bible, but not exclusively. I'm gonna stop explaining it because the people who are capable of getting it already get it, and everybody else is, well, not watching this video. They're probably jerking each other off about it on r/Mandela Effect.
That somebody, some preacher somewhere 50 or 100 years ago misquoted it, and then like a game of telephone, it went through the whole world. I'm like, really?
Really? You think people pick up language from other people?
You really believe that? That's so irrational.
Wow.
You've got to admit that there has to be some outward influence for this to be happening.
There does not have to be outward influence outside of humanity for people to pick up little snippets of language from each other. That's just how language works. Literally every word you're saying is a product of the exact same thing. How do you not know that people copy elements of language off each other? Are you new here? How does it work in Universe B?
There's no rational explanation for all these people going to these lengths like I'm outlining.
What lengths? Tossing out a phrase here and there in casual conversation is not that much of a length.
That are not controlled somehow all of a sudden. You know, it's not money is the root of all evil, it's the love of money is the root of all evil. I get it.
Oh, that's supposed to be another Mandela effect, huh? The fact that people don't say the whole quote, but something that means essentially the same thing? It amazes me what amazes you.
Okay, but look at the screen.
And my blood pressure instantly goes up 10%.
This is not what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
There has to be something happening.
With language or with what's on the screen? I'm not going to start repeating myself about what's on the screen. Everybody already knows how I feel about that, and it has absolutely nothing to do with how people pass along Bible quotes.
So please stop suggesting that we're crazy.
Hey, you're in Universe A now. You play by Universe A's rules. And in Universe A, you're crazy. I have a very vivid memory of that from the back of the cereal box as a child.
Or that we're misremembering, because both of those are irrational positions to take.
Funnily enough, neither of them apply either to what's on the screen or to the Bible quote. So I guess now you're satisfied, right?
So this leaves us, or you, with only one option other than that it's really happening. And that is that those of us who claim the Mandela Effect is real have succumbed to some outward influence.
Well, the Large Hadron Collider reached maximum power right at the peak of the Mandela Effect's popularity, so, just saying.
It's the only option, I think, other than it's really happening.
Yes, I know you think that.
So, either the Mandela Effect is real, or everything is the same, and those claiming it's real are under some sort of spell. They've been affected by something.
Maybe we should get Theophilus in here to tell you all about the witches.
Just to be clear, though, if the Mandela Effect is real, then the naysayer is under some sort of spell.
Okay, we can do that for the sake of argument. We'll say the Mandela Effect is real. Why would that imply that I'm under a spell and not just unconvinced?
And to us, it's very obvious that that's what's happening, because it's so obvious that it defies description. I mean, look at the screen. Okay?
You're right, that is so obvious that it defies description. I'm glad you finally realized that, so why'd you do such a shit job?
Now you have to say I'm a liar and that that's photoshopped or whatever.
Yes, I do, because it's so obvious that it defies description. If I said anything else, I'd be a liar too.
But, you know, there's so many of us who saw the Flintstone without the T on the lunchbox in Walmart. And we're like, no, this is really happening.
And yet not a single one of you morons thought to buy the misprinted lunchbox. Well, it does seem like Universe B people are kind of dumb, so it makes sense.
I suggest you take this seriously and just come at this with an open mind, like Aristotle.
Aristotle would punch you right in the ballsack.
Said the mark of an educated man is the ability to consider a matter without embracing it.
Oh yeah, he'd do that first, and then he'd punch you right in the ballsack.
So just drop your guard for a second here and just go with me.
I've gone with you for 4 videos, and all you've had is idiotic reasoning and outright lies. At some point, I'm gonna stop going with you.
And let's assume that so far I've made my case in your mind.
Even for the sake of argument, that's a hard one to accept, but, alright, I think I can manage.
And in your mind, you're picking door number 3 now, where Carol Merrill is now standing.
Carol Merrill? Carol Merrill was the model for the television game show Let's Make a Deal during the show's original run between 1963 to 77. Okay, I don't feel as old now. Anyway, this is going to seem kind of abrupt, but I think this is that point I mentioned where I stopped going with you. Not because of anything you're saying right now, or really because of anything specific you say later, but just because, for one thing, I feel like I've said everything I really want to say about what you're actually saying. And for another thing, because after this point you kind of get off in the weeds a lot, and that goes on for like another 9 or 10 minutes. So, no, I'm good. Instead of doing that, I'd like to switch to a video that I found while I was searching for videos about the Mandela Effect to respond to. And this is not one that I think is stupid, it doesn't contain any claims I need to dispute, it doesn't deserve mockery. No, instead, what I want to look at is a sad consequence of leading people to believe in and invest themselves heavily in conspiracy theories that are so outlandish. That's always a good way to get people coming back, right? Bring everybody's mood down right at the end. It's never worked for me, so might as well try it again. But before I get to that, I have a few closing words about this video. However perfect you wish your brain was, it's just a fact of life that your memory can and will betray you. Cultural and social and other influences will change some of your memories that you swear are true. Even just recalling the memories will do that as your brain reconstructs the scene. We all have false memories. This doesn't mean we're crazy. It's just an inevitable consequence of how the human brain works on a physical level. And if you pay attention, you can identify some of them. In fact, that's what the Mandela Effect crowd does. They just don't quite seem to realize it. I personally am aware of some facts about my younger life, ranging from my childhood all the way up to not that long ago, which I know are completely false because the dates of things don't match up remotely, or they involve people in places they've never been to, and yet these memories are as real and as clear to me as any other memories I have. You need to rely on your memory to an extent, of course, just to get through the day. And there are a lot of things that you will have memories of that may be false memories, but there's not really any consequence to that. But don't take the truth of your memories for granted. Don't assume that they can't be influenced by things that you encounter later, or by other people, or by some relation to some pre-existing memory, and your brain trying to make the world make sense. To do that is to deny your humanity. Now, likewise, outside of individual memory, there are some things that society more broadly gets wrong on a wide scale just because misinformation spreads like a meme through any of a million different avenues. So don't take society's memory for granted either. After all, a society is nothing but a bunch of human beings chattering at each other, putting ideas in each other's heads and confusing the shit out of each other. Now, all of this is, for better or worse, and let's face it, probably worse, just a fact about what we are. And you have a choice about how you respond to this. You can fall to the temptation to just deny it, search desperately for any other explanation, no matter how far-fetched, just to reassure yourself that the problem is not with your own brain, not with human beings at all, but something outside of all of us, uncontrollable, something that none of us are responsible for, something we can't do anything about, putting imperfect thoughts into our perfect heads. It might be more comfortable to believe that you have an infallible, godly mind. After all, for a while, that might let you salvage some of your misplaced pride about being wrong. But in the long run, all you'll actually succeed in doing is to give yourself a pass for laziness, for not bothering to double-check the factual basis of your beliefs, for not performing your duty of monitoring and maintaining your own mind. And ultimately, your memories will only diverge further from reality. That's not very productive. On the other hand, you can accept your humanity, your flawed nature, your susceptibility to just being wrong for reasons that range from outside influence to your brain fitting things into some pre-existing context. You can accept that the people around you are just as human as you, and that information you take from them might have just been taken from someone else, and so on down the line, all the way to someone who got it wrong, or to someone who wasn't even talking about what you think they were. So if you take this path, instead of rejecting all of that, you can accept it and then get to work mitigating it. Instead of fighting like a demon against the fact that you definitely have false memories and false facts in your head, and that you can acquire new false memories that you think that you've had for a lot longer than you actually have, and that you will acquire more of these in the future, you can just accept with humility and with some amount of pride that you're more complex than some perfect video recording machine. Your brain is incredible. It can do incredible things that no video camera can. But partially to enable some of the incredible things it can do, it's imperfect at things like memory. And it needs to be monitored and taken care of and doubted to an extent and handled carefully if you ever want to apprehend anything that approaches the truth. You can adopt a strategy by which you diligently fact-check yourself, at least when you feel it's important, even about things you think you know. And you can serenely accept the facts that you're never going to change. Difficult, brutal facts, like that the fruit in Fruit Loops has two O's and always did.
Hello there, lovely people. This is me, Ashley, here, sending my love to you from whatever reality I'm in today, to whatever reality you happen to find yourself in. This is just a quick one, really, because I've had to... It's my granddaughter's 3rd birthday, and I've had to come out of the house because I can't live with them, the unaffected. And the unaffected, those people I can't live with are my family.
Yeah, I think you can already tell where this is going. As I said, this is not something that I have any interest in mocking. This is not everyone who accepts these ideas, but it's some of them. And Ashley here has been spreading some of these ideas to other people. But unlike with Mr. Photoshop back there, I don't think there's any malicious intent here. This is what the victims look like. She was who was in my head when I was getting angry about that Photoshop. And the sad thing about this all is that it wouldn't take that much for Ashley to stop feeling this way. A little bit of unemotional critical thought, which not everybody has acquired the skills to do. It's a thing you have to invest some amount of time and effort into. And if you're not encouraged to do it, and you're not taught to see the value of it, either by other people or just by your life experience, you're not even going to know why that's worthwhile. What else? I don't know, read a few books about the science of memory. Yeah, that's about it. I think that's about all it would take for her to start to find her way out. And yet, instead, she's found a community that will encourage her not to do any of that. You know what, I'm talking like you've seen this whole video. I should play some more before I say anything else.
I just want to be somewhere where I don't, just on my own. I just want to be on my own. And I'm Ashley, the people's friend, and this is my family I'm talking about. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like feeling like this.
I think any ex-hardcore religious people can probably sympathize here. Getting upset and distressed about something that you believe for no actual good reason. Just a bunch of misunderstandings and misinterpretations and even lies, as we've seen. I don't know. I don't have anything super insightful to say about this video. It just really got under my skin when I saw it, you know?
I just want to run away and stay out of the way of everybody. I just want to be alone. I just want to be alone. And that's not right, is it?
Wanting to be alone can be fine, but this is not a healthy reason to want to be. No.
Living with the unaffected is really hard. And I am very emotional. I'm feeling so emotional lately, it's not right. I feel so emotional. And I can't cope with it. It's my family. And I just want to leave and just be on my own completely. It's easier. It's hard being Mandela affected. And it's so hard that it's actually easier to be completely on my own. That's hard. Okay, I'm going to run out of battery and I'm going to stop now, but I just wanted to share that with you. I'm having a hard day, and I shouldn't be. It's my granddaughter's 3rd birthday. It should be nothing but happiness, and it isn't. Okay, lovely people, till next time. My love to you all.
Ashley, if you see this, which I doubt you will, but just feel better, okay? And maybe give another very careful thought to whether what you're believing really makes sense. What's the worst that can happen? You stop believing it and stop feeling this way? It doesn't seem like a terrible outcome. It's okay to be wrong sometimes, and it's okay to change your mind. And it's always, always, always okay to ask questions. And that is the end, everybody. If you stuck with me all this way, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Personally, I really enjoyed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone to 4 parts. Hopefully, I'm not completely alone, shouting into the void, or Universe B. Those people are dumb. Anyway, do me a favor, subscribe, give the video a like. If you'd like to support the channel, please do consider visiting support.logicked.com, and there's a bunch of options listed there. Huge thanks to everyone who currently is supporting or has supported the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.